Hey everybody, my name's Kat, and I wanted to take a few minutes to share a story with you about something that happened in my life. Right after I got out of college, my husband and I got married, and it was only about 2 years later, actually in 2005, that I dropped a pretty big bombshell on him. And to be perfectly honest, the night that it happened, it was one that I honestly thought was going to cause us to end up divorcing. I later would find out that he thought that evening that I was going to be telling him that I was a lesbian. In actuality, that evening I came out to him as bisexual, which ironically was a bit of a relief to him. And honestly, it was a bit of a relief to me, as I'd known since the age of 7 that this was something that was a part of me, and it was something that I had tried again and again through prayer, through just about every means possible, including, unfortunately, becoming involved with the next gay movement to change, and had come to the realization around the time of getting married that though I was perfectly happy, though I didn't want to be with anybody other than my husband, those feelings weren't going away. And that night, or rather I should say that morning in 2005, around 3 a.m., laying in bed, having this discussion, I finally felt free. I realized my husband wasn't going anywhere. I realized I could finally be honest with the world and with myself about who I was. And I felt good. But I hate to say it, that good feeling didn't last very long. It was only a very, very short time later where I realized that this coming out experience wasn't going to be easy, wasn't going to be necessarily a positive thing, a positive experience, and a positive feeling. I had pretty bad reactions from both sides of my friends. There were individuals that were friends of mine who were straight who freaked out and said, well, if you're bisexual, that means you're promiscuous, that means you're a sex addict, that means you're having sex with all of these different people, and how can you possibly suddenly be doing this because you're a Christian and you're a pastor, and what happened? They didn't understand. I was the same person I'd always been. I was just every bit as happy being with my husband and my husband alone as I'd always been, and nothing had changed other than the fact that I was being honest. Then, ironically, I had friends that were GLBT who were telling me, well, you're just trying to be hip, you're just trying to be cool, you're just trying to act like you're one of us by saying that you're bisexual, but evidently you're not, because look, you're married to a guy. And even if you are, well, you took the coward's way out by marrying a guy. So I really honestly couldn't win at that point. It got tough in the following years in terms of coming out to different people in my life. In hindsight, part of me wishes at times that there wasn't such a strong drive in me to let as many people know as I did. As several people will point out, it's not like it was necessarily any of their business, but by the same token, it wasn't anything I was ashamed of. It was an awesome pivotal moment in my life to finally be able to admit it. And it was something that I felt like I should be able to share with the people that were closest to me, with the people that I had felt had supported me in my life. And sadly, I found that some of those same people who seemed to love and respect and care for me so much 72 hours earlier, the minute they found out, everything changed. And it was tough. It was one of the toughest times in my life, not really knowing who to trust anymore, not knowing who it was safe to talk to anymore, not knowing who felt what about me anymore. Roughly a year after I came out to my husband, I started working on a book, which essentially talked about my experiences with my sexuality from the age of 7 all the way up through shortly after coming out, and what the journey was like. And to me, this was a really big moment. This was a time where I was finally saying, okay, this isn't just between me, my friends, and my husband anymore. This is something people are going to know about. I had this deep feeling that what I was about to do would be important, would be something that would actually have an impact. And sadly, I sat on that book for about a year before even doing anything with it, before I finally got the nerve to publish it. And I can remember the week after it was finally published, sitting here having these thoughts of, well, what if so-and-so reads it? What if this person from my past that doesn't have the wildest clue about any of these things read it? What if certain individuals that I mentioned in my book, although I gave aliases to, find out somehow that it's them I'm talking about? That'd be a little bit embarrassing since, to be perfectly honest, I mentioned individuals that I had crushes on way back when. I finally realized that some of these things may happen, some of these people may read the book, but I was just going to have to let what happened happen. And I'm really glad that I did. In seeing what's happened these last 4 years, I'm amazingly glad that I took that step. I'm amazingly glad that I put my story out there, because I get the most incredible phone calls and the most incredible emails from individuals all over the world telling me their stories, telling me the pain that they've gone through in their lives, feeling like they didn't belong anymore when they came out, feeling like they didn't know who they were, feeling like their family had all abandoned them. And how reading that somebody else had those experiences, somebody else has been there and got through it, was actually something that helped them, was actually something that inspired them, and in some cases, in some of the best cases, was actually something that made them decide to keep living. That's my main goal in sharing my story with anybody, is to give people hope that no matter how it seems at the time, no matter how scary it is, no matter the predicament that you find yourself in, there is always hope and things are always going to get better. Can I say that the experiences are always going to be fun? Absolutely not. Can I say that you're not going to lose people that you felt close to, maybe sometimes even family members that you felt close to, because they're not going to understand? I can't say that. But when it comes to somebody that you had felt close to deciding that they don't want to be around you anymore, for something as trivial as your sexual orientation, you got to sit back and ask yourself, is that somebody that was really that close to me to begin with? Is that somebody that I really want to spend a lot of time being around if this is what our relationship is to them? Surround yourself with positive people. The pain, the struggles, the difficult times that you go through aren't going to always feel like they're the best things in the world. They're not always going to feel like they've got a silver lining to them. But the fact of the matter is, they're going to make you stronger if you let them. The fact of the matter is, they're going to give you the courage to get through more experiences. And I guarantee you that every single one of you out there, through the experiences that you go through, if you open yourself up to it and if you allow it, you're going to be able to be used to help somebody else. So with the experiences that you've gone through, with the experiences you're going through right now, use those. Give somebody else hope. And I hope finding out that somebody understands, somebody else has been there, helps to give you hope as well.